In the latest episode of Hack My Growth, I'm going to share with you 5 of my favorite absolutely free SEO tools. And these are tools that we use every single day here at our agency. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each tool and how we use it to get the best results we can for our clients. Hey, thanks for checking out this video. If this is your first time watching or maybe been watching a while and you haven't yet subscribed to our community, please do so now. We create new content each week to help you get the most out of your digital marketing activities. So as I said in the opener, we're going to be talking about 5 free SEO tools. Now these are tools, like I said, that we use every single day. I'm going to help you peek under the hood of each of these tools and how maybe you could start using them to get the results you're looking for. What's up? In this video, we're going to be looking at 5 absolutely free SEO tools that I use on a pretty much daily basis. Now, some of these tools do have features that you can obviously add on and buy, but the basic versions of them and to get started, they're absolutely free and they can really help make your work go much faster and make sure that you're really structured correctly and targeting the right things and getting the results you want to see. All right, so let's check out these tools. So here's a list that we're going to look at, and I've got a list of 5 tools here. Now some of them you may already be using, or maybe you don't even consider them a tool, but I definitely do, and they're things that I use on a daily basis. The first is Search Console. It's more than just data. It's a great tool that has a lot of other things inside of it, and when used properly can really help you grow your visibility. Google Sheets, I've done a couple videos on Google Sheets lately. It's a tool that we use all the time. It's super simple, but it's very, very powerful. The detailed browser extension, and this is one of the browser extensions I featured in another video. This tool is awesome. Use it all the time. It allows us to peek under the hood very quickly and see some really great insights. Then we've got SEO Quake, which is also a browser extension that we've talked about a little bit before, but this is a great tool to get data right from the SERPs themselves. And finally, one of our favorite tools, probably a tool that I use more than any other tool, is Screaming Frog. It does have a paid version, but you can get started with the free one, and this is an all-around workhorse. It will really help change the game. So the first one is Google Search Console, and it's a web service. It's by Google, and it lets webmasters, check indexing and optimize their sites. That's pulled from their knowledge panel. What I use it for analytics, to get data. I use it for indexing, page optimization, links, and a whole lot more. So let's go quickly and take a look at Search Console, and I'll walk you through a few of the things that I'll do using this tool. So when you log into Search Console, you'll typically see something like this. I use a pretty large screen so I can see well because I'm old and my eyes don't work. So we're going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit. And as you can see here, we can see performance metrics. We can see, how many clicks that we're getting, the different search engines, or maybe Google Discover. It gives you an overview of your coverage issues and page experience. So right here, we can see a few things that we need to fix. And you can actually log in or go a little bit deeper into some of these and to figure out what's causing these issues. Again, like unparsable structured data. This is probably because it's taking like a quote from a blog article and it's messed up some of the article markup. That's typically the error we see here. Or the AMP issues that we need to go and tweak and fix. And so it's telling us these things, that we can go and make changes with. So again, let's say I wanted to fix this unparsable structured data. I could click on it right here and it's going to say, like I said, thank you, Google. It's going to show me I've got 12 issues right now, and it's saying there's a parsing error. So I can look at one of these sites here, like oversimplification, and it's going to pull this up, and there you go. Inside the description, it's actually pulled in this description with quotes, and that's what's causing this to break. So I actually need to go back to this page, remove those quotes, because I can't have another set of quotes here with inside the description, because that's going to screw up the JSON. So that's something that I can go and fix, and thanks to Search Console giving me that information here and telling me exactly where it is in the line of code. This is not just a tool that you would use to look at clicks and and impressions and keywords. Down a little bit lower though, we've also got the section which says legacy tools and reports, and you've got links. This is a new section that I think is pretty good. It's relatively new, I guess, speaking in the world of Search Console. And you can see the top pages from an external link standpoint. You can see the top linking sites to your site. You can see what the top anchor text is with people linking to your site. And you can see the internal links. And I use this quite a bit for internal linking. If I want to figure out, maybe there's a page that I want to improve the internal linking on, I can look at these target links and then I can figure out okay, which pages are missing? Which pages should I maybe improve the links on here? So like this page has got a lot of internal links. Some of that's coming from navigation. Search Console doesn't break that out for you, but at least it is a pretty good tool to really understand the linking structure of your website as well. So Search Console's got a lot of things that you can do. Under the more features would be these legacy tools. Things like URL parameters and the web tools, and if you've had any issues with links, maybe the disavow tool. All of this are under the umbrella of Search Console, and they can be very useful to people who want to know how their website is doing. What are some of the things I need to do as far as page experience or core web vitals or mobile usability? Or, we can get into the enhancements with our structured data and how we're performing in the SERPs, as well as, some information on, how our site's being targeted and even going into links. So Search Console is a really good tool. It's a free tool. You just have to sign up for a Google account and you've got access to this, and you can really start to understand how Google understands your site and your pages. The next tool that I use on a daily basis is Google Sheets, and it's a spreadsheet program. It's part of their Google Docs suite, and it's something that I use all the time. I use it for keyword research, I use it for SERP analysis, I use it for data aggregation, I use it to build strategies, and I do a lot more with it. And years ago, I was not somebody that would use even Excel or anything like that. I was kind of like scared of those programs. I didn't feel like I was good enough with all the the different functions and stuff that you had to do. But as I slowed it down and I took time to learn these programs, they've become extremely useful, and Sheets is one of those programs that's extremely useful. So let me show you a little bit of how I use Sheets, and I do have 2 other videos that go very in depth, like how to actually perform a SERP audit. I highly recommend you check that out, and you check out the functions that SEOs need to know, because that will help you really take your Sheets game to a whole new level. So Google Sheets is a spreadsheet tool. It's simple to use, and you can use it any way you want. I like it a lot better than Excel nowadays, just because of some of the other built-in functions. Specifically one like we use all the time when we're building like trend graphs. We get the trend data from SEMrush and we want to strip it out. You can use Sparkline, which is pretty cool. It makes quick graphs for you. But you can do it everything from graph visualization to doing like BI to actually doing analysis. So like quickly I could run a search result and pull some data from the search results just using Google Sheets. Pretty cool. So I could type in URL here, and then let's look up here. Let's just Google Sheets. This is a little browser extension. Instead of copying and pasting all the URLs, this is something I got from the guys over at Detailed. They're really smart. Go ahead and click this. We've got these 2 Wikipedia links. This isn't a very good SERP, so let's try something else, right? Let's do SEO tools, and let's extract the URL. So now I've got just a list of URLs, and let's say I was trying to do a piece of content on this, and I wanted to see what would be a common title tag, right? So I could go over here and type title, and then I could just use a Sheets function. And in this case, I would use one that we talk about in that other video called import XML, where I can actually say, look at this URL, and then give me back the title of that URL. And so Moz here is actually pulling some other things here, like their logo and all that. So it's going to break some things underneath this when I pull this down. Because of that one up here. But as you can see, the Moz one's broken, and these value ones actually don't work because there's nothing in those. I can easily clean that up by using a filter. That's another thing that's really awesome about Sheets. I can filter this stuff and get to the information I need very quickly. So I can go ahead, Mods are the ones that are kind of breaking stuff, so I'm just going to ignore those ones, delete these selected rows, and now I've pulled all those title tags from the search results. And I can look at what are some of these titles that maybe I need to look at. It looks like when it comes to SEO tools like this video, listicles are really popular. So I would probably need to write something within a listicle format, or at least something that goes alongside that, because that's what Google is expecting, because they found that's probably what the user is intending. Now this is just a quick way to use Google Sheets. You can use it to build programs even. There's a lot of tools out there that use Sheets or Excel-based tools, spreadsheet-based tools, to actually develop SEO tools. And I've done that before, like content generators, where you build a bunch of different options and you create variables. So this is a really way to start building and creating some of your own tools And you don't have to be a programmer or a wizard to use it. Just find other things that people are doing online and take it and make it your own. But Sheets is a really awesome tool and allows you to do a lot of cool things. And there's also a lot of cool add-ons that you can get for Sheets as an SEO. You can get the Google Sheets Analytics add-on, where you can actually pull your Google Analytics in here. You can get Search Analytics pulled right into here. You could use the Moz API, and you can actually connect to Moz, sign up for your Moz account, and if you've got any API access, and I know Moz has different levels too, you can do some free. So if you want access to all the metrics, you gotta upgrade here. But let's say I wanted to, look at domain authority or something. I could easily do that by taking one of these URLs. Like, let's do Brian Dean's site over here, Backlinko, and pull it in here and say get the data. And they let me do 10 URLs every 10 seconds. So I could put this in here, and Moz would tell me, some information right into Google Sheets. So last time it was crawled, month and date. They're really just going to give me access to like page authority and domain authority. So let's say you want to know the domain authority and the page authority of a bunch of pages. You could use Moz to do that for you. And it's absolutely free, and it's going to import it right into Google Sheets, and it's going to allow you to work from inside of here. Very cool tool, something that I highly recommend if you're not using spreadsheets. And check out those videos that I did. I think they'll help you quite a bit. The next tool is a browser extension, and it's the detailed browser extension. It allows you to get really good SEO insights with a click. It's built by SEOs for SEOs, so that's a really cool thing as well. A lot of really good information over at Detailed. If you haven't read any of that stuff, or you don't know much about them, or if you don't know much about them or Glenn and what they're doing there, I highly recommend you check out their website. But this extension's pretty stinking cool too. I use it to check titles and metas. I use it to look at headers and structures of pages. I use it just to get really quick insights. If a client's asking me something, or if I'm on a prospecting call and I want to be able to have a little bit of something to give the person that I'm talking to, this extension helps me quite a bit. So since we already pulled up this site from the SEO tools example, we can actually run the detailed browser extension here, and it works in Chrome. And you go ahead and you just click it, and here you go. Here's the analysis. It's going to give me the title. It's within the right character limit, the description, the URL. It's got canonical links. They're using robot index and follow tags. I've got word count. If they've got images, I'd be able to see that. I can see what kind of header structure they're using in images and links. But I can go up here and I can actually see the headings, and I can see the breakdown of this piece of content. What are the different things that they're talking about, and how is it broken down? I can look at the total links to this page, both internal links as well as external links from this page. I can take a look at the images. How many images are here? How many have alt tags? How many have titles or not? I can look at the structured data. So see what kind of structured data they're using here. And it looks mostly like just website, organizational structured data, and some list structured data. I can look at the social graph, so things like Open Graph or Twitter cards, and then quick links to some other tools out here. This is a really cool tool. So you can see we can do a lot of pretty awesome things. I can even highlight no follow links if they've got any of those going on. And I can also do some cool search operators here. Like let's say I want to do a site domain search on Backlinko. I could do it right here, and I can look at just Google search from the visibility of Backlinko. Or let's say I wanted to perform any page, just check to see if any pages isn't secure. I can do a search like this, and there's really just one page here, and it's like really old page, and obviously not important. But this is where you can find pages maybe that are lacking HTTPS. So it really helps you optimize really quickly, or just get some insights quickly. You can go to somebody and say, hey, did you know you had like 20 pages that are not secure? So you can see all this comes from just one plugin that you can just click around. Very cool tool. I highly recommend it. It also works on Firefox. Since I spent a lot of time looking at SERPs themselves, having some extra data can be really helpful, and that's where SEO Quake comes in. It's a free browser extension, but it helps you in a number of different ways. And I like to use it for quick on-page audits. You can do that with it. You can examine internal and external links. You can compare domains and URLs in real time. And mostly what I use it for is extracting more data from the SERPs. So let's take a look at how you guys could possibly leverage SEO Quake. Let's say you were going to, trying to rank a page for this term, best time for a webinar. Once I turn on SEO Quake, it starts to pull in some pretty cool data here. Now, if you've got a subscription to SEMrush, you can get a lot more information, but you don't have to have one. So let's zoom in to see the type of information SEO Quake will give us. So if you have a free SEMrush account, that's all you need is a free account, and you will actually get some more information. So I highly recommend, if you're not using SEMrush, we actually use it as a paid level. I think it's a really, really good tool. But even if you want to get more out of this tool, SEO Quake, having a free SEMrush account is really, really worth it. So you would just click connect here, and I would connect my account. So now that I've actually connected it, I'm going to get a lot more data. What it's going to tell me is the domain score, the trust score, how many visits approximately this site is getting, what's their average page per visit, the average time, and bounce rate. It can give me the amount of pages indexed in Google, the links, the linking domains, Bing data, Alexa data, how old the page is, any Facebook information. I can look up the who is, I can look up the display ads, I can look at the SEM rank. I mean, there's a ton of information I can pull straight from here. And it does it all the way down the search results, because I can start to see, okay, what might be some of the factors that are influencing this page? Is it the amount of links they have? Is it the amount of the visibility they're getting in other areas? This is actually one thing that was really helped me. This tool was really helpful early on to really debunk a lot of the noise I was hearing in SEO. You should try this and you should try that, or links only matter, or this only matters. When you start to look at these pages, page by page, like you take this data and actually scrape it, right? Like I can go here and export this to a CSV and put it in Sheets. You can start to see that some of the things that people say, this is what makes everybody rank, isn't always true. You'll notice here, in some cases, you'll have a page right here. It's got 61 links to this page. GoTo.com right now is 2 to this page because GoToMeetings changed their URL. But this one's ranking higher. So obviously there's a lot of other factors considering the fact that this is linked to GoToMeeting and all that. But links themselves aren't the only things that ranking here. And looking at a tool like this and being able to look at the SERP reports and understand that can really make sure that you're focusing your strategy in the right areas. Another thing what SEO Quake does, you can set your own parameters here. So you can look at Google cache data. Like you can set all of these, what you want to look at, what's important, what's not important. There's even more settings that you can get into. You can look at this SERP report in a total sheet like this, which is again is really helpful. We can look, is there any Facebook data? It doesn't look like it is. We're not seeing much of this Google index data, and that could just be their tool. I can look at the Bing index, the Alexa rank, the web archive if that's working. I can look at the SEMrush rank, which is how much traffic these pages are getting in the SEMrush tool. I can also look at backlinks, so the subdomain backlinks versus the root domain backlinks. So what's some of the parameters here? What's working? So that's pretty awesome. And this is all straight from the search results. I can export it. I can set a location. So let's say you're doing SEO in a different country. I can actually set a country or a language. I can sort this page by a certain parameter, so I can organize it in a different way. It really helps me take more control. And here's another thing that's really cool. So let's say you're doing keyword research. SEO Quake is going to give me difficulties from the Google database for this keyword right here at the top as well. And I can actually get a full keyword report. So this goes right to SEMrush. You're going to get more information if you have the full tool and not just the free version, but it actually will help you do some keyword research as well. And right from the SERPs, that's what I really like about it, is as I'm looking through the search results, I can get real-time data about the links that I'm looking for. Now, all SEO tools, not everybody is perfect, not all data points are 100% accurate, but at least it's a baseline. It's something that you can get started in saying, okay, here are some of the things that I'm seeing based on the search engine's results and the data around the sites that are ranking. So it's a pretty cool little plugin as well. It's a great tool that we use pretty much every single day. So I saved the best tool for last, and this is Screaming Frog. Screaming Frog SEO Spider is a web crawler, and it helps you do a lot of things, mainly focusing on on-site factors and extracting data. and doing audits for SEO issues, you get 500 URLs for free. So that's pretty awesome. So you can do smaller sites, but you can also do some pretty massive sites with this. We've crawled some pretty large websites and did some pretty very specific deep dives with it. We use it for our site audits, we use it for data pools, we use it again for internal linking, SEO visualization, and a whole lot more. There's so much this tool can do, and we've barely even scratched the surface, and I literally use this tool every single day. So I'm going to walk you through this tool, why it's so awesome, and how you can get started to leverage it to really help improve your SEO visibility as well. So you can use Screaming Frog in a number of ways. Probably the most common way to use it is to run a site audit where you put your site domain up here. You would be in what's called the spider mode, and you would run your URL in here, hit start, and it would crawl all the pages on your site. And all different types of pages. So you can see here we've got everything from text to CSS to images. Over here, there's always a summary of what's going on. So all the URLs it encountered, anything that was possibly blocked, and then you can look at your data. So right here, it'll visualize it underneath. So let's say you wanted to look at security. It'll tell you here's the HTTP URLs versus the HTTPS. If there's anything that you need to take a look at, you can look at the URLs themselves. Are they structured correctly? Are you using the right format? We can look at page titles, see if anything's over the character limit or below. And as you notice over here on the big screen, everything's changing as well. Each of these, we can go into meta descriptions, we can look at keywords, we can look at header tags, we can look at the content of the page. You can actually look and find word count. If you set up spelling and grammar, which is actually under here in the configuration, you actually can set up spelling and grammar, and it'll check your spelling and your grammar errors. So you can see that as well. It'll tell you whether one page is indexable or not. It'll look at your structured data if you set it up to do that. You can take a look at your site maps and page speed. There's so many cool things that you can do with this tool that barely scratches the surface. I probably should do a whole video just on Screaming Frog. What's also pretty cool is you can set up APIs here. So you can hook up Google Analytics and Search Console and Page Speed Insights. It's also got some third-party tools like Majestic SEO or Ahrefs or Moz. We use this quite a bit when we're doing a big crawl, and we're trying to understand which pages are popular, and we can pull the data right from Google Analytics and attach it to those pages and start to do some of that analysis. You can do some cool things with internal linking as well. You can pull the Google Page Speed Insights as well. There's so many awesome things you can do. You can look at response times of your website. You can look at the overall structure of your website and how it's built out. This tool is so packed full of awesome things. Like I said, it's just you're barely scratching the surface. And as you begin to click on certain URLs, you get more data and information about those specific ones right here. So I can narrow the home page out, and I can look at the status code and all the things that are specific to this URL. I can look at the internal links, I can look at the outlinks, I can look at the images on this and the details with those images. I can actually pull them in here and see what they look like. I can look at all the resources that are associated with it. I can look at how it would look within the search results. So here's the snippet, and I can start to play around with rewriting those and what they would look like. Like I said, there's just so much that you can do with this tool. It's pretty awesome. What's also cool are the visualizations. Let's say you want to see how your site looks from a crawl tree graph, and you can really begin to understand, your website and how it's made up, how it's built out. And so we've got, the simplified search page, and then we've got, the different ways that these pages are being crawled and moved through here. If it's green, it means it's indexable. If it's red, it means it's not. And there's certain pages that we don't have indexable for certain reasons on this site, but at least we can see and we know. You might be able to pull this and go, wow, we're not even letting ourselves index this. What's going on? We probably should fix that, right? And so that's one cool graph. And then you've also got a directory tree graph, which kind of looks at all your different directories and how it's built out. So we've got the entire website here, whether it's our course site or whether it's going to be the site with our content and everything that we've got around there. So those are the things that we want to look at. And actually right here I'm seeing actually want to index my author page. I think that's something very important because I want Google to know that I'm the author of this site, so they can pass some of that authority to this site as well. So that's something I need to fix. And again, without some of these tools, I wouldn't actually be able to see that as quickly as I would like to. So there's definitely some things that I could clean up on this site. It's also got some really cool like force directed graphs. You can also look at your in-link anchor cloud, so you can see what are the internal links on your site and how they're coming across. These make for pretty good visualizations to share with clients. You can even run what's called the crawl analysis afterwards, which adds more information. And this actually gives me one of my favorite things in this tool, where it will actually calculate an in-link score. So it'll calculate how strong my pages are internally and what is the score that those pages are getting. It's kind of like an internal page rank. It's a very, very, very useful piece of information to know, because this will help me pass that authority to other pages if I need to improve that, or maybe I want to make sure that things are easier to get to from one page or another. This tool has got so many features, it would take me hours and hours and hours to go through it all. If you're not using Screaming Frog, I highly recommend that you check this tool out, because it will give you awesome insights, and it's a free tool, which is cooler than anything else. But if you like it and you're getting a lot of use out of it, I highly recommend that you pay for it too, because it's one of the most amazing tools that we use all the time.